大家好，香港時間早上5點16分收睇緊嘅係 Edge World 世界頻道同埋 Facebook 直播嘅。今日咧，我請嚟嘅互動嘉賓咧有 Benedict Rogers 喺度嘅。Ben, it's a pleasure to have you appearing at Edge World again.
Thank you very much. It's great. It has been a while, but great to be back with you.
Yeah, and congratulations on your new role as Senior Director of a new, well, it's not a new NGO, maybe you can tell us about where you are right now. You have a bigger portfolio, I heard.
That's correct. So I just joined about 3 weeks ago an organization that has been in existence for about 15 years, and I've known them for ever since it was founded. Actually, the founders are very good friends of mine who I've known for about 20 years. It's an organization called Fortify Rights. And Fortify Rights was founded primarily in response to the human rights crisis in Myanmar or Burma, where I also worked for many years. I've been involved with Myanmar for 25 years. But Fortify Rights over recent years has been expanding. They now do quite a lot of work on Ukraine, and they've asked me to join them as senior director to do a number of things. Firstly, to support their well-established work on Myanmar, also be involved in Ukraine, but to establish a new program of work for them on China, including Hong Kong, but also Tibet and the Uyghurs, and North Korea on top of that. And then in addition to all of that, I will also be establishing Fortify Rights Advocacy in the United Kingdom, in the British Parliament, and in Europe, which they have been doing some of over the years, but they haven't had anyone permanently based in London. So I will have that responsibility as well. So it's very exciting. I'm really delighted to be back full-time in human rights advocacy. Of course, I never left human rights advocacy, but for the last few months, I've been doing something else and been doing this in my spare time. Now I'm doing it again full-time, and I'm very glad to be.
That means there will be a lot of lobbying to the UK government on the countries that you mentioned, more resources or more soundbite to let people know about the suffering of the people living there. Is that what it is?
That's exactly right. To make sure that all of these situations that I mentioned are on the agenda of parliamentarians and ultimately of the British government, and other institutions around the world, European governments, the European Parliament, and others. And you know, the timing is very interesting because my first day in this new role was on the Monday, the 31st of March, which was just a few days after the terrible earthquake hit Myanmar the previous Friday. So I was straight into the issue of Myanmar on my first day. So yes, I think it's a very important opportunity to highlight all these issues and get them further up people's agendas.
I think you got baptized, right? Like at a Catholic church in Myanmar quite many years ago. Was that right? If I recall correctly.
That's correct. It was actually on Palm Sunday, 2013, so 12 years ago. By the Cardinal of Myanmar, well, he wasn't Cardinal at that time, but he later became Cardinal Charles Bo, so the most senior leader of the Catholic Church in Myanmar.
Right. Now, talking about Hong Kong, as you see in today's thumbnail, which is also here, you see the person who played Jesus. On the left, the TV series is called Chosen. It's quite a good series. And then our friends, Benny Tai, Jimmy Lai, which you know very well, Gwyneth, and also Hang Tong Chow. Your new role, you are establishing a platform through, can you say it again, Frontier?
Yeah, it's Fortify rights. So fortify meaning
Fortify.
strengthen. Fortify rights. Yeah.
Fortify rights, and we can find it in the website as well, right? Fortify rights.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And the core team, are they based in London?
No, I'm the only person based in London. The team is
Okay.
spread around the world, mostly in Asia and some in the United States. But I'm the only person based in London.
Okay. I see this type of setting is quite common now, even with Amnesty International. I just read just a few days ago, they're like Hong Kong operations that's now operating outside of Hong Kong. Didn't say where, but I guess they can move to different offices when there's a human capital. When there's someone working, they could rotate in different offices. So it's quite common right now, right?
Yes, I think that's right. Ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, the way of working has changed and people are much more flexible. And yeah, I think it is becoming more common.
What do you think you can do more at Fortify, right, in terms of the Hong Kong issue? Now it's getting more and more complicated. Just a few months ago, when someone interviewed candidate Donald Trump, he said he would put Jimmy Lai as a top agenda to release him, and he said it was easy. And then the tariff war, and then well, I guess the President Trump right now, it's having a lot of I don't know challenges himself inside the U.S. and also globally. It's do you think Jimmy's issue can be more magnified through Fortify Rights, the new NGO that you joined? I mean, another strong voice, I believe. Like because you are known globally for what you do, but with your new NGO, you think it could strengthen the Hong Kong issues?
I certainly hope so. I'm just in my first few weeks at Fortify Rights, and we're still in the process of. Well, I'm still in the process of establishing my role, and then we will, together with my colleagues, we will develop over time a plan for how we work on Hong Kong and how we work on China. But I know from my conversations with my colleagues already that there is a desire to do more, particularly for Jimmy and for other political prisoners in Hong Kong. I mean, obviously there are a number of organizations, including Hong Kong Watch, which I co-founded and which I remain a trustee of, that are very active already. So what I would like to do is for Fortify Rights to come in support of those groups that are already doing great work. We don't want to come in and reinvent the wheel, but if we can add support and strength, particularly for the individual cases like Jimmy Lai, that's what I hope we will do.
One more thing I'd like to ask you. Now, you know Myanmar very well, but on the Tibet issue, His Holiness the Dalai Lama published a new book, and you mentioned about it on your Facebook. I just saw it. You bought the book. It seems like he might cherry pick the 15th Dalai Lama outside of China. Like China is not too happy about it. And what is your strategy? I know Tibet will be another very important, should I use the word portfolio, that you'll be working on, because you know the Tibetans very well as well. Yeah.
Well, I can't say too much about the strategy at this stage because we're still developing that as a team. As I say, I'm still very new in the role. But I'm definitely very keen to do more on Tibet. I think that in recent years, Hong Kong has received a lot of attention, rightly so. It needs that attention, but it has received quite a lot of attention. So have the Uyghurs, and the Uyghurs also need that attention. But there has been a concern, I think, in the last few years that Tibet has sort of fallen lower down the agenda of people's minds. That His Holiness the Dalai Lama's new book obviously helps remind people of the situation. But I hope that in my role I can do what I can to remind people also about the appalling atrocities in Tibet. And one very important thing I would just say quickly about Tibet is that if we really want to understand the Chinese Communist Party's tools of repression, Tibet was the first place that they invaded and occupied, back in 1950, long before they dismantled Hong Kong's freedoms, long before the genocide of the Uyghurs. So we need to support Tibet and understand what's been happening in Tibet for all these decades, and strengthen the voice of Tibetans and support the voice of His Holiness.
Right. And how was the service tonight? I think you went to a church service, right? Well, it's going to be Good Friday tomorrow in Canada, but you already went to Catholic service. How was it?
It was wonderful. So in the Catholic Church, Easter is celebrated with 3 days. So there's what we call Maundy Thursday or Holy Thursday, where in the church the famous scene of Jesus washing the feet of his disciples is reenacted. So the priest actually washes the feet of 12 members of the congregation. So that's what we did tonight. Tomorrow, obviously, we will have Good Friday, and we will remember the arrest, the torture, the crucifixion, and the death of Jesus Christ. And then on Sunday, we will celebrate his resurrection. And those 3 parts of the Easter story, I think, go together. And yes, I had a very blessed evening for this Thursday evening service.
Right, and sometimes we need some time off just to reflect and pray, because what the line of work that you do, it's stressful, and all these years we hear about you getting razor blades in your mail sent to your mother, because it's public, right? I think I can say that. So it's horrifying with all these threatening messages from whoever. We cannot prove it, but we know people who fight for freedoms, they have to face those challenges, like yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And I think also, the Easter story, both of the suffering of Christ, the crucifixion of Christ, but also the resurrection that we celebrate on Easter Sunday, is very relevant to the kind of work that that I do and that you and I are talking about, because around the world today, in Hong Kong, but in many other places as well, people are suffering injustice, persecution, imprisonment, torture, but Easter tells us that despite all the pain and suffering, there is hope, because we can see that hope through the resurrection. I've actually written 2 articles published today. I think I sent them to you earlier in the day.
Yes.
On these themes. And I think one of my articles is actually titled "Easter Should Make Us All Human Rights Activists," because we should be outraged at the injustice that Christ faced on Good Friday, and that injustice is continuing throughout the world with friends like Jimmy Lai and many other prisoners in Hong Kong and elsewhere. But we can also take hope from the fact that that's not the end of the story. On Sunday, we celebrate the resurrection, and I believe we will one day see the resurrection of Hong Kong and of all the other places where there is persecution and injustice.
Yes, and before that, I think we all have to work very hard on Hong Kong, and there's still no message or any hint when the judgment will be passed on Jimmy. I don't think so, right? They keep on holding it. There's no day set yet, right? For Jimmy's judgment.
Yeah, that's
so
my
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, and then for the Alliance group, it will be sometime around November when the trial begins. So I guess you and I will be very busy. And I just want to pre-announce that Ben, since you are in the new job now, we will be actually hosting the World Hong Kong Forum. This time specifically focusing on the Alliance Group hopefully in Vancouver when the trial begins in November. Just want to give you a heads up in case you are traveling to that part of the world. So, yeah.
That's great to know. Well, if I'm in that part of the world, I'd love to join you. And even if I can't join you in person, I'd certainly, if you would like me to, I'd love to join remotely as I have in previous years. But definitely, I will be with you in spirit at that time.
No, we'll be online for sure. And just like when we met the first time, it was in Vancouver. Remember, it was not even in Hong Kong because circumstances was such that you cannot enter Hong Kong. So too bad we have to meet in Vancouver at that time. Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for giving us update about yourself, your new role, and also the portfolio you'll be focusing on. And I guess Hong Kongers are really grateful for what you have done, and we still need your support wherever you are.
Absolutely. Well, let me just assure every Hong Konger that is listening to this, you will always have my support, and you always have had my support, even when I stepped down from my full-time role as CEO of Hong Kong Watch last year. I never stopped speaking and supporting Hong Kong, and in my new role, I will continue to do so. So I want to say to everybody, Happy Easter for when it comes on Sunday, but also Guang Fuk Hong Kong, Si Doi Gak Ming, and Ga Yao.
Yeah. And thanks for showing us your handwriting. It's inspiring. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll have some more handwriting coming out actually over the next couple of days around the Easter theme.
Great. Thank you again, Ben.
Thank you, Ed.
Good
Thanks
evening.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.